Hi and welcome back to my channel. In today's video you have my June TBR. So before I get going, I need to mention that this TBR, while it will have less books than I normally talk about, it's overambitious for the month that I have planned, because kind of on the spur of the moment, I've been thinking about it for a while, but it was rather spur of the moment. I decided that I wanted to go on a trip this summer and booked a Mediterranean cruise with my mom. So we are going to be, it's a 7-night cruise, and we're going to be gone a night on either end of that, plus travel, which is about half the month. And obviously, since I'm flying halfway across the world, I am not going to bring physical books with me. Also, as you will see in next week's video, which is my wrap-up, I read a lot fewer books than I have been in April and March. Both April and March, I crossed 30 books for the month, and that is a lot. And this month, I did not want to push myself, but I'll talk more about that then. I only wanted to mention it because it meant that I did not get through nearly as many arcs as I had hoped. So that's what I'm going to be doing for taking with me, I should say, on the trip. I'm going to be taking my Kindle with me and hopefully reading arcs while I'm over there, and or listening to anything. I might download some stuff on my phone to listen to. So I still have a stack of books over here, and I'm still going to be trying to get through all my lists, my Buzzwordathon 23 and 23, my series to finish, my series to start, and then all of my BookBox books. I thought I might not get through all of my BookBox books. I don't know why I have trouble with that every time. But anyway, I thought I might not get through all of them, but I was able to. Technically, at the time of recording, I have not read my Goldsboro book for the month. However, that is the next book that I am picking up, and I have 4 more days left in the month, plus a holiday, so I will get to that one. Without further ado, here are the books on my list. And I just realized I don't have any of my old TBR books to cross off this list. So it looks like I will be tackling several of them in the second half of the year, because this now makes the 3rd month that I haven't put them on my TBR. I need to prioritize that. Anyway, we'll start with my Buzzwordathon book. That book is Bravey, a memoir by, I'm not going to try to read the subtitle. It's a memoir by Alexi Pappas, who is a runner who has represented Greece in the marathon in the Olympics. She is American, but she's of Greek heritage. I have wanted to read her book for quite a while because I've listened to her on a lot of different podcasts, and the buzzword for this month, I think, was emotions. So that's why I chose Bravey. And this also helps me with my nonfiction goal, which this technically is the only nonfiction of the physical books that I have over here. So I'm definitely going to have to try to find out the nonfiction, because I was going to try to get to 2 a month. So that's Buzzwordathon. Now, 23 and 23, and I chose, because I will have vacation days, obviously. I'm in the summer. Well, not quite at the time of recording, but I will be for most of June. I will have vacation days, days without work on either end of the trip, but I did try to prioritize smaller books. So for my 23 and 23, I have chosen 2 middle grade books. And the first of those is Shouting at the Rain by Linda Mullally Hunt. I have read Fish in a Tree, which was about a girl who has dyslexia and a few other troubles. I don't remember the synopsis off the top of my head. This book, however, interesting. So I think this is a summer, and she's probably obviously going to be dealing with stuff. That's what Linda Mullally Hunt tends to do with her books. I won't read the whole synopsis, but I'll read this last bit of it. She's trying to find friendship, and she's found this person that she's basically trying to, like, she's spending time with over the summer. And then at the end it says, as they traipse around the Cape, they uncover deep neighborhood secrets, stand up to cruelty, and get into good and bad trouble. But they also open up to each other and tackle complicated stuff, like what it means to be angry versus sad, broken versus whole, and abandoned versus loved. So definitely why I put it on my to read list. And then the other one is one that I saw Ashley with Book is Rome talk about, and I could not believe that I had never read anything by this author before, and it's a topic that I'm really interested in, and that is A Seed in the Sun by Ada Salazar. The main character is a farm worker. She's obviously middle grade age. She is living around the time where there were like Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta advocating for workers' rights in the farm areas of California. Between working the grape harvest in Delano, California with her older siblings under dangerous conditions, taking care of her younger siblings, and Mama, who is mysteriously falling ill, and doing everything she can to avoid Papa's volatile temper, it's hard to hold on to those dreams. I didn't read the part where I talked about the dreams, but I'm really excited about this one. Next, we get to the series that I'm going to finish, and it's one that I could have done this month, but I'm kind of glad that I didn't. It's a one book to finish a series, and it'll be a quick read, and that is Love and Luck by Jenna Evans Welch. Again, this series is technically companion novels. They are not interrelated, but I count it as a series, and this is the only one of the three that I have not read yet. If you saw an angle change, it's because I accidentally hit the stand that you're on. Anyway, next we come to the series to start. Now, did I have other series that I could have done which were smaller as I look at it? Not really. I kind of have left my big series to start for later in the year. But anyway, I'm choosing this one because it's actually the buddy read, and I think the whole series is going to be buddy read. So it means I need to make sure to get the second in the series because I have 3, 4, and 5. Anyway, it's the buddy read for JD Ray Reads Patreon, of which I am a patron, and that is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons. I am so excited about this one. This is one that I've definitely been looking forward to. Now we get into my book box books. So first up we have As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zuleyfa Khattu. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I've been hearing a lot of really good things about this book, and I've been wanting to read it for a while, just haven't picked it up yet. And then Fairy Loot announced a standalone special edition that looks amazing, and they're going to be donating to a relief fund to help out people in Syria. And I thought, I really want that book. It looks gorgeous, but I need to have read the book first before I go out and purchase another edition. And so I decided I'm going to read this one. This is YA, but I'm really excited about this, and I'm hoping that this outing for a book of the month is a lot better than May's. Next, I have one that I'm not necessarily excited about, but it's the shortest of these. I don't remember the order that they came up in, so I'm not going in month order. But next is Goldsboro, and this is the shortest Goldsboro that I have. This is also YA, if I remember correctly. This is sci-fi. It's called Mind Walker. I don't remember what it's about, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Sci-fi has not been doing all that well for me lately, but this is Goldsboro. Next, we have Aardvark, and Aardvark is doing well, as you will see in that video when I do that. And, well, they're sort of doing well, at least in the ones that I've read. I did have to skip a month. I'll need to remember to put that in the video. But anyway, the next for Aardvark is The Night Ship by Jess Kidd. This, I believe, is a dual timeline story, and it is set in the Oceania region, like Australia, so I'm intrigued about this. Next, we have Caffeine and Legends, and again, I really like the Caffeine and Legends subscription, so I'm hoping that this one is better. And so for that one, we have The Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill. This is the book that reminded me of T. Kingfisher's Nettle and Bone, and so I'm really excited about this, and I hope it's just as good. Then we have Fairy Loot, and for that one, I have chosen a short one, and I believe it was one that came next. It is one of their paperbacks, the extra books that have come in the box, and as such, it is very tightly bound, so I might see if I can find an e-copy or an audiobook copy. I just had a puzzle piece following me, so I have to find out where this puzzle piece came from. Ah, found it. That's very odd. Anyway, because this is one of the UK tightly bound paperbacks, I may try to find an audiobook or e-copy of it and actually read that version. But that one is Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo. I'm glad I have this version. I don't really like the American cover, but this is, it's been so long since I got this. I really need to make my way through more of these books to try to catch up with the series. But this one is, okay, so there are, I guess, two different, oh no, there's a princess and there's a soldier, I guess. So one is an heir to powerful magic, locked away in a tower. I wonder if this is a retelling of Rapunzel. And then the other one is a soldier who has spent years plotting vengeance on the crown. So probably enemies to lover, maybe. Not sure. But the only reason that I think it's a Rapunzel retelling is because her first book, which I have not read, is To Kill a Kingdom, and I think that is a Little Mermaid retelling. So that's Fairy Loot's book for this month. Next we have the Illumicray book for this month, and there's one that I actually ended up getting 3 copies of, thanks to Owl Crate and Taylor Book Recommendations, but I kept the pretty version and I hope it's good. And that is These Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Webber. This, I believe, draws on Welsh mythology, but you've got really pretty sprayed edges, and I really like this reversed dust cover art. So, These Drowned Woods, and I think, so, all right, once upon a time, the kingdoms of Wales, so yes, it's Welsh-based, were rife with magic and conflict. She's the last living water diviner, and she's running from a prince who bound her to his service. Interesting. She's 18, but she's been running for years. So maybe he bound her in her service when she was really young. Second last, we have my tailored book recommendations book, and that is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. This is one of the few on this list that is not fantasy. I mean, what can I say? I love fantasy. This is the last of the 3 books that was in my first tailored book recommendation box, and I've been hearing about Louise Erdrich, who is a native author, and she's written a lot of stuff, and I don't think this is magical realism. This is a little bit slice of life. She is released from prison because she made some really bad choices in life, and she accepted it, she's moving on, and then she ends up getting a job in a bookstore, and there may or may not be a ghost involved. So we shall see. I've heard really good things about this and about Louise Erdrich's writing in general, so I'm excited to pick this one up. The last of the book box books I'm pretty nervous about because it is fantasy romance, and there's a new trend going around to call it romantasy. I get it. I get how you're doing the portmanteau there. I just don't like it. I'm also not big into romance, so I hope this trend dies out quickly. But this is my adult Fairy Loot book, and if the other one next in line were any smaller, I would do this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and go in order. And so that one is The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. I have heard mixed reviews about this one. I've heard that the world building is strong enough that it's not just all romance, which is good for me, which might save it for me. But I mean, when you have this as the end page art, it's definitely romance based. She works for the underground, she makes poisons, and then she's thrust into the, interesting, Sainted King's Court. I'm jaded before I open this book. I need to change my mindset before picking up this book. Anyway, so there is the Foxglove King, fantasy romance, probably a lot of those typical tropes. So there we have all of the books that I have physically and that I plan to read physically this month. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and put up here the image that I made for last month of the arcs that I hope to get to. I may have already read some of these arcs by the time the vacation rolls around, because I am filming this about 4 days before the end of the month. So we shall see how I get on in June. I also have several of my SEASL books that I have checked out from the library because I want to keep going on that, but they are not my highest priority. If all else fails, I will try to tackle those for sure during the month of July. We shall see though. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.